Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Snowflake, and here's her story. And we know Snowflake's last couple videos where she was adopted and treated like an abused dog they couldn't get rid of, and she ended up basically running in a pack because that's all she knew. Here's her story. Hey, it's Snowflake, the dog, haha. I probably shouldn't joke like that, but then again, how else am I supposed to handle these things? Sorry for my last story, it was written pretty badly compared to my first one. Hopefully I can write this one a little more clearly. So you were right again with your thoughts about everything I said. No surprise there, you always hit things right on the money. You said I couldn't get comfortable anywhere, and I think that's still an issue I have. I always feel like I have to run, which recently I really screwed myself because I chose not to run where I should have. I'll get into that later. It's like, yeah, you just gotta go. It's like, you ever see an animal, like cats do this more. You ever see a cat just go from dead rest, dead sleep to just take off running to nowhere? Running to nowhere? That's what you do. You just run somewhere, anywhere, because it's like all of a sudden you got this shot of energy. You just gotta go. I haven't been able to understand or connect with people who haven't suffered trauma. I've tried a few times and they just think I'm insane and cry way too much. The insensitivity that the insensitivity that those without trauma have is just unreal to me. I also agree with what you said about me running with a pack of wild dogs. Very true. Over the years, I've noticed a need to take care and love people who are abused, or who claim to be, which in the end turns out to be severely self-destructive. My intentions are never to get hurt. I just know how it feels to feel unloved when I want whoever is suffering to feel loved. Who'd have known that who'd have known that's a favorite tactic of narcs, right? Damn. Well, the problem here also, Snowflake, is you don't really know what love is. You don't know how to be loved back because you've never been loved. And you think you can only love something that's damaged and abused like yourself. It's something you're trying to relate to, but these are damaged people like yourself. They don't know how to be loved either. I really struggle to weed out the good from the bad when it comes to people. I tend to sympathize with everyone and anyone, no matter what they've done. I hate it. I always feel like I'm walking into a trap whenever I allow myself or someone to get to know me. You know why? You tend to sympathize with everyone, no matter what they've done, because you don't want to be judged negatively. You don't even feel you have the right to say, you know what, that's fucked up. You feel you have to accept everybody's bullshit because nobody's ever accepted you. You know, it's almost like you're playing like a quid pro quo with, well, I'll acknowledge you if you acknowledge me, but you never get the acknowledgement back. All you still keep getting is the same kick in the ribs, the same abuse over and over and over again. It is hard to try to relate to people of what's wrong with you who haven't been abused, who have been loved in their life, because they just don't get it. They just don't get it, which is why so many of us end up just being introverts. It's just like, I give up. I'll stay within these four walls and just deal with myself and not be disappointed and abused and deal with the loneliness. I always feel like I'm walking into a trap whenever I allow someone to get to know me. The results have been so bad so many times that I'm afraid of everyone. Whenever someone's nice to me or compliments me, I catch myself almost asking them, why are you being so nice? What do you want from me? Just tell me what you want. I probably mentioned that in my first story already. I have no idea how to curb my suspicion of people. That's a big reason why I isolate, like I've previously mentioned, right? And you just get sick. You just get sick of taking chances on people because you get burned so many times. You get rejected and hurt and crushed so many times. It's like, I'm just done with you. I'm just done with everybody. The less I'm around people, the less opportunities people have to hurt me. I just want to be happy. That's all I want. I feel like I have to guard whatever I have left inside me, how a feral dog guards its scrap of food. I've become a shell of a person. I feel like a fucking disaster. It's like I've been condemned to limbo and I can't find a way out. Anyways, in May of 2016, I moved back in with my parents after they were finally able to find me and get me safely off the streets. After the horrific traumas that almost seemed constant and probably were for those 3 years, I was so psychologically and mentally destroyed. I saw things and experienced things that you would expect to see on the ID channel and A&E. I was afraid of my own parents, even though I had no reason to be. It took me a year of being hidden inside my bedroom for me to recover enough to start having human interactions again. It was so bad that my mom, not Sauron, had to bring dinner to my bed, like when you were sick. Yeah, because you don't trust anybody and you're just sick of the world. You're sick of it. You're sick of everybody. You're sick of being hurt. You're sick of having to fight. You're sick of this mental state. You're sick of having to be in this mental drive in order to survive. That you just want to go like a dog that's been beaten and hide in your crate. Hide in your corner. Hide with your blanket. Whatever your comfort zone is. I got a job at a movie theater October 21st, 2017, and holy shit, I still wonder how I lasted 9 months there. I was poorly managed and people got away with way too much, considering the fact that I was still integrating myself back into society. I did fairly well there. I made a few friends and was a favorite, and I was a favorite among the customers. Also, in January of 2018, I was finally able to go to no contact with Sauron. I'll tell you why the movie theater did probably worked out for a while for you. It's because you get a rush of people, and then they're all in the movie, and then you're gone, and then it's broken. Okay, everybody goes to rush to the concession stands because everything's at a different time. So it's kind of like you get breaks from people. Okay, and even though people are rude, there's still an overall culture of being quiet and kind of keeping to yourself and not imposing yourself on other people in a movie theater. You know, that's not to say like that the concession lines don't get crazy and the other things don't get crazy, but they ebb and they flow. Like if you go out during the middle of a movie, a lot of times like all the movies are playing at once, nobody's out there. So it's almost like you're getting like little breaks from society. And I think that's probably why you were able to do that for 9 months. One of the friends that I made was a guy my same age. His birthday is May 19, 1992, and mine is June 19, same year. I still believe that's serendipitous bullshit. Too many movies, I'm sure. Well, this guy was a former addict like myself, and it's just two addicts. It's just... Although you gotta assume somebody who's an addict is also coming from the same kind of chaotic lifestyle you did, and it's not necessarily going to mix. See, the problem is narcissism recovery and narcissism recovery are not a great mix. They're still not a good mix because you're dealing, instead of with just your issues, you're dealing with the other person's issues as well. And there's a lot of room for explosion in there. Well, this guy was a former addict like myself, although his vice was the same as my sister's was, and mine was the opposite of that. You know, the one where you say you literally hate. Oh, booze. So this guy and I had a pretty good understanding of each other, and we both came from messed up backgrounds. How convenient that he was always there to soak up all the information about my pain, like a sponge. That fucking sponge-based calculating asshole. I had so many red flags, but no, I ignored them. I doubted my own sanity. And here's the thing with like heroin addicts are the worst of the worst liars. They are the worst of the worst manipulators, because they have been, if you've been a heroin addict for any amount of time, you have become a master liar. You have become a master of like, no, I'm not on anything, of being able to manipulate and to guilt and to pity party and the whole nine of it. And a lot of them never stop. A lot of them never stop. We started officially dating in February of 2018, and we were engaged on April 1st, 2018. Running towards chaos. Again, another example of running towards chaos. I know I move too fast with people. I understand it's a problem I'm keeping in mind for the future, so I don't keep repeating that. Anyways, my concern started about a week after dating. He would go MIA a lot, and I couldn't get a hold of him for days sometimes. Like, yeah, come on. Right there. I would tell myself I'm being too clingy and paranoid. The end of April, he was involuntarily admitted to the hospital's cancer floor. No, he didn't have cancer, but he might pull that card in the future. He was there for an accelerated staph infection inside his collarbone joint. Is that where he was shooting? He's shooting into his neck? Because probably his veins are collapsed. About a week before he was put in the hospital, we had a little incident. He thought it would be a smart idea to shoot up. Really? I should have left then, but no, I sat there continuously checking his pulse for 9 hours straight while our so-called friends left me alone to deal with it. He finally came to, and I was so mad at him. His bullshit is where the infection came from. Yeah, he shot into his neck. That's a guy willing to do a lot for drugs. If you're shooting that shit into your neck, there's very little you won't do to obtain drugs. I had a no needle rule, but he couldn't get sober to save his life, literally. I tried to keep him clean. He would seem fine for a few months, and then the whole, here we go again. He was in the hospital for 2 months, and in July 2018, I moved in with him. He lived in the basement of his parents' house, both raging alcoholics, and they used to do coke. I think they still were. His father had the most intense verbal rage I think I have ever seen in my life. His mother was rather cold, but somehow seemed nice. They would have sex like everywhere. Everywhere. They didn't care if anyone accidentally walked in on him. Gee, I don't know why he ended up as a heroin addict, living in their basement. Thank God I never did. His mom would walk around in a small robe, like probably the kind that a new bride would wear on their wedding night. That short. It made me really uncomfortable, and it also made me question how close him and his parents were. I realized that's not a normal thing to wonder, so I just tried to let it go. It didn't take long for bizarre things to start happening within my relationship. There were a good number of times, all with different guys, friends of his, where I would receive weird messages. Oh, and if you haven't figured out already by now, if they were both born in 92, that would make the parents what, everybody? Most likely, boomers. Another boomer mother walking around with her fucking ass and pussy hanging out in front of her son. Doing drugs and booze and God knows what. Basically them asking, okay, wait a minute. There were a good number of times with all different guy friends of his where I would see real weird messages. Basically them asking for a threesome and me telling them hell no. It continued to happen, and one of his friends spilled the truth to me. My fiance was telling them to ask me to do it. It struck me as pretty weird because he wouldn't even touch me, like it was a rare snowfall in Florida. So he's asking for a threesome with his guy friends? His guy friends would tell me he's... And he wasn't touching me, so what were you doing with him? He was also obsessed with social media and also did the duck face while taking a selfie. Now I'm no fool when it comes to shady shit. I knew something was up instantly. He had also allowed his 46-year-old ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend to stay with us in the next bedroom, so he does have mommy issues. He's with a 46-year-old woman who was born in 92? That experience was awful, and her and her boyfriend ended up sending me recordings of my fiance and that bitch. It was painful to hear them talk about how they were going to gang up on me and bully me, which they did, until I had a mental breakdown. They left after the boyfriend threatened to kill my fiance and the cops were called. I thought things would go back to how they were. The next day he invited some of his friends over because his parents had been out of town for all this, and still were. He belittled me in front of them, screamed at me in front of them, and after traumatizing me through PTSD right before I left for work, he then told awful lies about me. I have recordings of one of those friends still. It's like 2 hours worth of his friend telling me that all he said about me, how everything my fiance said about me was the things he was actually doing, not me. I didn't know what projection was at this time. When I came home from work, I was ripped a new one until I wanted to kill myself. It lasted for hours with him screaming at me, telling me how I disrespected him and made him look bad in front of his friends, and I should apologize to them for how I acted. Thus how my recorded conversation with the one friend happened. I knew something wasn't right. I messaged this friend and said I was told to say I was sorry. That made everyone uncomfortable for being mean. He asked me what the hell I was talking about and validated my thoughts that my fiance is a liar. I still tried to make things work. Then I realized suddenly one day why he was having his guy friends message me about threesomes. The next time one of them said to me, I told them the only reason he's interested in is a threesome, so he'll have an excuse to fuck you. He's not even attracted to me. Obviously, my fiance's guy friend didn't believe me, or the fact that I was being denied any kind of intimacy since they were told the opposite. So he needed his guy friends to be there so he can fuck you? Sounds like you wanted just to touch his guy friends. It was shortly after that where we would have a sequence of huge blow-up fights. I would try to stand up for myself, but it never worked in my favor. I was crazy and couldn't discern my own thoughts from reality, or so he would make me think. He made it so that everyone around us thought I was an evil bitch and that he was a victim, when behind closed doors he was tearing me right back down to nothing. Oh yeah, I forgot the best part. Sauron called his house phone and no one told me until weeks later. Why? Because he was having conversations with the woman about me behind my back and he had never even met her. I was no contact with her and he knew it. He blackmailed me into seeing her. I fought, but you see how well me fighting has worked in the past. So here she is, on top of God knows what he told her. He played on my kindness and reminded me how guilty I would feel if one day she just died and I had never spoken to her. He was more verbally and emotionally abusive than she was. He got me to self-harm on a regular basis again, and I became a danger to myself yet again. He made my suicidal thoughts into just jokes and more ammo that he could use to hurt me. I know he wanted me to do it. He tried so hard, but I realized it and couldn't let myself give in to what he wanted. He also did that thing that you've mentioned on videos where the narc will wake you up when you have to sleep. He kept me so hard and so broken. He kept me so tired and broken to the point that I couldn't even function at my job. When I moved in, I started working at a call center, which was a load of shit, and then I got a job at a drugstore as shift lead. Fast forward to August 13, 2019, the day he got into one of his many fights with his dad because he doesn't know when to shut his mouth and stop talking. He always has to get the last word in and teach people a lesson. I even snapped at him once because he treated me like a child whenever I would make a simple mistake with anything. He would scold me like some kind of dad. I told him if I wanted a fucking dad, I would have got with a guy I would have gotten with a guy who was twice your age. Don't fucking talk to me like that. I'm not your child. I want a partner, not a parent. He would scold me again, and I would just reply with, okay, Dad. That would piss him off. Well, the day he got into that last fight with his dad, we had to leave for safety, and we went to our friend Tyler's house. Shit hit the fan there. Our other friend Michael was there with his girlfriend Mandy. Mandy and I decided to walk to the drugstore I was working at to get some hair dye because I loved to color hair and she wanted me to color her hair. When we walked back, I noticed my fiance was in the bathroom for quite a long time. Again, he thinks I'm stupid. I knew he was shooting up. I confront him and he admits it to Michael's face, not mine. And I was like, hello, fucker, I'm right here. I'm the one you should be confessing to. You're not marrying Michael. Shouldn't be marrying you either. Besides the fact, I'm telling you, this guy's gay. This guy's on the down low. That's why he's shooting up. That's why he wants three-ways with other dudes. That's why he won't touch you. He's gay. I had canceled our wedding that was supposed to happen December 1st, 2018. That was supposed to happen December 1st, 2018. I'm assuming 2019. Because you're already August of this year. I had canceled our wedding that was supposed to happen December 1st, 2019, long before this, because the amount of red flags that were enough to feed a village at this point. He's screaming at me for having, or maybe it is 2018, could be. So he's screaming at me for having feelings and emotions about how he just went behind my back and shot up and thought I would just forgive him. I sat there, done, so done. He doesn't want feelings or emotions. Why do you think he's sticking a needle in his neck? I'm sitting there and he's standing over me, leaning into my face, insulting me, degrading me, letting me know how and why he finds me repulsive, disgusting, and the reasons why he doesn't want to touch me. This is how gay men talk when they hate women. This is a guy on the down low. But it was all going in one ear and out the other with me. I didn't care about anything he had to say at this point. It still hurt, but I refused to even react. I remained like a statue and just stared at the ground and waited for him to finish. However many minutes or hours it would take this time. Our friends were about to knock his ass out for how he was speaking to me. But not for shooting up in the bathroom. Like, where are these friends that are just letting him get high and shoot up nonstop? They're just enabling it. And these friends that are sitting there while he's trying to talk you into three-ways with them. Like, come on. These aren't friends. Luckily, Michael got him to leave with him and Mandy to a hotel for the night to give us some space to calm down. The damage had been done, and I had found out that same day he was cheating on me with men. I knew it. Come on, man. Snowflake? Come on. I knew this. I knew this before I even got to this. He also had slept with his ex who stayed with us. I couldn't forgive him. He knew everything I had ever been through, and still, he so easily hurt me and got off on it, I'm sure. I ripped that fucking ring off my finger and threw it. I looked at Tyler and said, I'm done with him. I never want to see him again. It's over. I received tons of hateful and cruel messages from my ex-fiance because he hates women. He hates women. Listen, Snowflake. There's been 2, 3, 4 dozen guys like this written about on this channel. This is borderline person. He has borderline personality. Borderline personality. And you keep running towards chaos. I received tons of hateful and cruel messages from my ex-fiance. He went as far to rip out the pages of my diary, which thanks to him I have done for the first time since Sauron, read mine as a child. Ollie kept those pages, those personal pages, about personal things and thoughts that weren't meant to be shared with anyone. He's been sharing them far and wide. I feel so violated. Not even Sauron has done that to me because they're vicious. The down low borderline male is vicious. They are the most dangerous of the cluster bees because they hate women. They hate women and they hate being gay. They hate it. So they turn to drugs and alcohol and just outright vicious vileness. Yes, she read them, but she never ripped out every page and kept them for a sick and twisted revenge. He returned the remaining empty pages of my diary minus anything that had writing on it. I had to pay him $400 just to get some of my stuff back. Yeah, because it's... Of course, my ex-fiance hasn't stopped to this day with the smear campaign. He's pulling any card out of the hat that he can pull. 18 months, I let him destroy all the progress I made. Sauron is back in my life thanks to him. I'm having a hard time going no contact again. I know I need to, and I know I should. Some random day at the first or second week of December, she's having a Christmas party. I got the day off of work and was planning on going. Don't. I made the plans before I found your channel, so I don't even have the knowledge that I have now. I promise all of you I won't go. What the hell do I do besides going no contact? I'm talking about everything. I just can't trust people anymore. I'm broken. I feel ugly and just fat out, used and discarded. How do I even function again? I'm sick and tired of crying alone at night so that no one sees me hurting. I feel guilty opening up about my emotions, so I just suppress them until I'm alone. All my life, I felt like just a big fucking burden to everyone. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I just want to heal. I have to heal. God, please help me. Everyday experience. Sorry, I don't mean to be so negative. I just really need help. This is the hard part, Amanda. I'm sorry. I keep almost using your name. This is the hard part, Snowflake. Okay? These battles are going to be with you for the rest of your life. I'm not going to blow sunshine up your ass and say, boop, you're going to be happy. Boop, it's all going to be... It's not. You have to keep being able to remind yourself and tell yourself that you didn't do this. This is the doing of Sauron, your mother. You have to face the reality that you can't keep running towards chaos. You can't save anybody because you haven't saved yourself yet. And it's a lonely, lonely, lonely time going through this. It's not easy. It's not. But are you better off just staying secluded for a while until you meet somebody who's worth it? Now, nobody with an addiction problem. You can't be with people with addiction problems. You can't be with people with really bad, fucked up childhoods because it just doesn't work. It does not for you, not for most of us. I've seen your picture. You're a pretty girl. You're not an ugly girl. You're not unattractive. You don't need to throw everything into somebody like that. You don't. You are running towards what is comfortable towards you, but what is comfortable towards you is what is comfortable to you is toxic, will kill you and destroy you. It's a bitter pill and it sucks. Something most of us have to face. Most of us are introverts. Most of us are. That doesn't mean you're not going to find somebody who's going to treat you right, who's going to care about you the way you want to be loved, the way you need to be loved. But you're not going to find it fucking around with addicts, screwing around with addicts, giving addicts and giving these people the benefit of the doubt. You're not in a position where you can give anybody the benefit of anything, if the benefit of any doubt. If somebody can't accept you for how you are, you have to move on, Snowflake. You have to move on. There's no effort in loving Charlene. There's no effort in her loving me. Loving people true love doesn't take effort. The relationship takes work. But in your case, you're bending over backwards for love that's never going to come. And borderline males on the down low are the most vicious. And it seems to me the last thing you need in your life right now is another relationship. You need a relationship with yourself. Work on things that make you happy. Outside of narcissism, outside of addiction. Look for a friend base there. You're not in a position where you can save anybody. Few of us are. Few are. Doesn't make you a bad person. Makes you abused. So, I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for here, but I hope it helps somewhat. You can stay away from people without staying in bed. You can make your own environment as comfortable as possible, the way you want it, as happy as possible. I mean, that's what I do. What do you think all these lights are about? What do you think all these lights are about? I have very few friends in real life. Very few friends down here. I have a couple. Not a lot. Because I only let select people in at this point. And it's just what it is. You're going to have to accept that most people just aren't going to cut it for you. They're just not. So, I hope that helps. Thank you again for another contribution and story, Snowflake. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.